De'Aaron, you had 17 points there in the fourth quarter, but it was the other guys that had to pick it up in the end. Just how big is it that you were able to carry them to that point when they were able to come up with that 7-0 run to finish it?
I mean, it was great that we were able to get those stops when we did. Obviously, Domas making a big play, and I think that's something that we need, just being able to pressure the ball, being able to, even if you don't get that steal, you're pushing the catch out, 35 feet. So, and obviously Malik hitting a big shot. I mean, that was a great way for us to be able to, sneak away with this win.
How tense were some of those moments down the stretch? Considering that you kind of been here before against a team like this.
I mean, obviously we'd rather not have been in that position, but at the end of the day, it's a close game against an NBA team, and you try to execute down the stretch, you try to get stops whenever you can.
You guys come back from 19 down last night, you're up 20, they come back, obviously take the lead there late. That's kind of the new NBA where 15, 20-point leads just don't feel as safe, maybe as they did, even 10 years ago. How does a player's mentality change when or does it change when you're up 20 or down 20, maybe in the first half or early third quarter of a game?
I mean, that's what you're trying to find. Whenever you get up, how can you stay up? How can you put your foot on their neck, make it turn a 20-point lead to 30 to 40? And that's where it can be difficult, but if you want to be a really good team in this league, you have to find a way to be able to do that. And then on the other end, obviously you'd rather not get down 20, but when you are down 20, especially when it's not in the fourth quarter, if it's in the first half or third quarter, how can you find a way to get 3 or 4 stops in a row, 2, 3 baskets in a row, cause them to call a timeout, and turn 20 into 12, and 12 into 8, and now it's a different ball game. So it's always going to be a game of runs, but if you want to be a good team, you have to be able to hold the lead, and if you dig yourself in a hole, you have to be able to dig yourself out of it.
Fox, you've seen Keon and Davion's full career in their development. Last 2 games, both of them have stepped up in kind of an extended role. Just from your perspective as a point guard, what have you seen from them and how they've grown and what they're doing on both sides?
I think they've been big. I mean, one with their ball pressure, that's one thing that I feel like stands out. I mean, when Keon steps on the court, good things happen. He's able to just create. I mean, I think he's one of those guys that you would call a defensive playmaker. Like, he just makes things happen on the defensive end. And then I think he's a better shooter than people know. Obviously, people haven't seen him. You haven't seen his career. But I think he's a much better shooter than people give him credit for. And obviously, teams haven't seen him as well. So a lot of times they're going under ball screens or DHOs. And I mean, we have the confidence in him to shoot the ball. I mean, we've seen his shooting numbers in practice. We've seen what he does in practice. So I think when he has that confidence and you go out there and you're playing, real NBA minutes, it starts to grow, and he's going to continue to grow as a player the more people see him on the court.
De'Aaron, just given the ups and downs like in recent weeks for you guys, how fortunate do you feel to come away with the win tonight, and how, what's the big takeaway for you guys as a group?
I mean, obviously we want to play much better than we did, finish the game much better, or be in the second half play much better than we did, but I mean, you'd rather learn a lesson in a win than a loss, obviously, with the way that the standings are and how close guys are. It's good to walk away with the win, but obviously we know we need to be much better.
Another good game for Malik. Just how much does his secondary playmaking provide for you guys, and how much have you seen him embrace that bench role?
It's been big for us. I mean, starting last year, I feel like people didn't know how good of a playmaker he was, or how creative he could be with the ball, because all they saw him pretty much doing his career, and then in college was score. And I feel like he's grown in that aspect, and he knows that he's one of the best pick-and-roll players in the league, and he embraces that. We try to put him in position for him to be able to make plays or score for us. And I mean, he was big tonight coming in the first quarter and playing like 5 or 6 minutes, and I think he had like 9, 2, and 3 or something like that. So he's big for us, especially when we don't start the game well, or even when we do start games well. Just having that basically like a 6th starter coming off the bench is huge for any team.
Yeah, and obviously you don't have a vote at the end of the year, but in your opinion, who would be the 6th man of the year right now?
I mean, I don't even think it should be close, honestly. Who won? I don't even remember who won it last year, to be honest. But I feel like he should have won it last year, and I think he's long and away the front runner for 6th man of the year. Like, it shouldn't even be close.
De'Aaron, on a sort of a down note, you've got a couple of guys who are struggling right now. How do you get Kevin, how do you get Keegan sort of going again here as you're hitting the stretch run?
We have to stay the course. I mean, we talk about sprays, which is getting in the paint or maybe right out, a foot outside the paint, being able to spray the ball to get open shots. And we have to be better at that. I think, I mean, this team, the Spurs, push out a lot more than most teams. But we just have to be able to get those guys in position. Sometimes it's just get an easy one, get fouled, a backdoor, get them a layup, just to be able to see the ball go to the basket. And once you see that, sometimes the floodgates just open. So we have to try to make it easier for them. Obviously, Kev's running all around the court trying to get a shot, and that's what shooters do in this league, and that's his job. But at times we have to just be able to get him a standstill shot, and that feels a lot differently than when you're sprinting back and forth trying to get an open shot for yourself.
Aaron, obviously you're the reigning clutch player of the year. How much do you enjoy and embrace being that guy for your team, especially with how the season has gone with a lot of late collapses?
I mean, those are things that you work on, that you work on having to take tough shots, and obviously, it's such an analytic driven league that you want layups and free throws, and threes, but at the end of the day, when the game's on the line, teams aren't giving that up. You have to be able to make mid-range shots or floaters, and those are just things that I work on, and my teammates get me open. So for me, it's just try to be able to execute at the end of the day, but sometimes shots don't go in at the end of games, and you have to be able to live with that. And I think that's one reason that I'm able to take as many shots as I do in the fourth quarter when there are close games. Not that I don't care that I miss, but you know that you're going to miss, and you have to be able to live with that result. And trust me, I'm fine with living with that result.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks a lot.